is showbiz pure. This is showbiz nasty.
Yeah. You have to run into these things every once in a while.
But I mean, you know, we do as much as we can from now on, because it's just not suitable to us. You know, we're not made like that.
What kind of, I guess, like mostly cabaret things?
Well, so we work universities and clubs, you know, big clubs.
Is there much of a scene in the universities over in England?
Yeah. The same as here, you know.
That's quite a market over here,
Yeah.
Particularly, you know, for an older, more sophisticated audience.
Yeah. They're more, you know, there's a better listening approach.
A couple of numbers were unbilled, weren't you? Some of their epic albums.
Yeah, they had one with a lot of old unissued singles that was just made up, you know.
Which numbers do you recall?
I was on all their early singles, like I Wish You Would, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, I Ain't Got You, you know, things like that.
I like the guitar playing that very much.
You do? Yeah.
Also, weren't you on some of the live album, the second album?
The 5 Live Yardbirds LP, I was playing on that, yeah.
That was all live in concert?
Yeah, that was done at the Marquee Club.
That's got to go where the other bass amp was.
Yeah, we had a couple of inquiries. Somebody was wondering, you know, also you were Sean Mayall's Blues Breakers.
Yeah.
That album was just released in this country.
Yeah.
Recently. Very good album, great album. I like it very much.
Yeah, it's a beautiful album.
Yeah.
It really impressed me. It was a Brunsey number, Big Bill Brunsey. And in fact, it was an LP that I'd never heard anything like it before, you know, anything that was anything to do with blues, you know. And from then on, I went further and deeper into the kind of history of blues, you know, and how it formed into rock and roll and R&B, you know.
What were some of the records and some of the people that you...
Well, Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley, you know, interested me from the contemporary scene at that time. And then, you know, I went back to Blind Lemon and Son House, you know, Skip James, you know, people like this, you know, and it sort of encompassed the whole field, you know.
When did you first start playing guitar?
I first started playing when I was about 17.
Did you have any formal lessons, or was it...
No. There isn't any provision made for that kind of scene in England, you know.
You started off on an acoustic guitar?
Yeah, just for a while I played acoustic guitar, playing country blues.
Yeah, like, were you playing along, did you play along with records, or did you...
Yeah, I learned from records. that's all.
Like, what were some of the records that you started with?
Well, the ones I told you, you know, and
Any particular song?
Well, there was a beautiful song by Brunsey called The Lonesome Road, Walk Down the Lonesome Road, you know, which I imitated and sort of developed from. And then I started becoming interested in B.B. King and Muddy Waters and Little Walter, you know, and my style developed more into a Chicago blues vein, you know.
Did you add any things of your own to the style? You know, what were some of the things you added yourself to the style?
Well, this has only really developed in the last year or so, because up until then I wanted just to sort of exploit my technique and see if I could play as well as they could. And I mean, I don't, you know, I mean, you could never reach, you know, the standard that you know, of a sort of idiom that the originator reaches, you know. So I got to a certain stage and thought, well, now I have to develop my own style, you know. And so I just started adding things that came into my head, you know. Sort of, say I would do a B.B. King run, and then I would fit a run of my own into that, and it's become sort of very much orientated with my own scene now. So I play more of my own music than I do anybody else's, you know.
Do you play slide guitar?
No, I tried to play slide for a while, but it's for me, if I'm going to play any style at all, I have to play it all the time to be able to be satisfied with it, and I couldn't just just make do with just a little bit of slide playing. I'd have to do it all the time to be able to, you know, make it properly. First groups, I just played with I played with 2 groups before the Yardbirds. That was a blues band called the Roosters, which lasted about 2 months, which was, you know, my first professional band, and I started playing with them about 3 or 4 months after I first started playing the guitar, you know, just went straight into it. And that lasted for a while. Then I joined a rock and roll band, a pop band called Casey Jones and the Engineers. And that was pretty unsuccessful, so I left them and joined the Yardbirds.
And the Yardbirds were just starting off?
Just started, yeah.
So I guess you were more or less the one responsible for the guitar style, more or less?
More or less, yeah.
The What was the original concept of your first sound? Was it built
It was originally intended to be a sort of modern, sort of rock and roll blues band. You know, like, we played a lot of Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry numbers. You know.
See, how long were you with the Yardbirds?
Oh, about almost 2 years, I think.
You left them to...
Yeah, well, as I became more interested in blues and the deeper aspect of that kind of music, they became less. They became more interested in just, you know, making money and the, you know, the pop scene, you know, and just making pop music, you know, and so I became naturally discontent, you know, because the music that we made was split, you know, and so I left and joined John Mayall, which was a blues band, you know. Oh, about a year and a half, I think, something like that.
And what was the audience for the John Mayall band?
There were it's mainly students and sort of, you know, fairly beat people, and it was an underground scene, you know.
Do you feel that, and the reason you organized the Cream was that sort of the audience now, sort of the students and underground people had come to the point where they would accept a popular group?
Yeah, because it was coming out, you know, it was beginning to process more into a sort of less bigoted, you know, attitude, because at first blues was so specialist that everyone who liked it became very cliquey about it, you know, but that wore off. And so, you know, blues now in England is as big as any other kind of, you know, music.
I guess the standards have improved quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, a good quality group, you know, playing good quality music.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
What has been the reaction to the Cream in England so far?
Very good, very good. We're very, very popular there, you know, very popular.
Once again, what sort of audience are you attracting?
The same sort of audience, but, you know, a lot of younger people and a lot of older people. It's broader, you know.
Do you feel there's still sort of a little bit of screaming, teeny?
No, we don't have any teeny boppers. You know, don't have hardly any teeny boppers.
Oh man.
Well, not, you know,
They all come around and shout, Eric, Eric.
Well, it changes all the time.
Favorite model or a different one for a different style?
Yeah, pretty usually my favourite model is a Gibson, you know, and that Gibson solid guitar of any make, you know, is usually pretty good.
Not this one. I don't know. We're doing any show.
Flat pick, yeah. Use in England, which we're waiting for here now, are the Marshall 100 watts. I use 200 watts English watts, which is about 400 American watts, and Jack uses about the same.
What sort of tuning
Well,
do you
who
use
is
on the
he?
amp?
What's he doing?
Everything's full up, and then I use the volume control on my guitar, so I can go up and down as I like, you know, without turning around to the amp.
He says the drums were in the basement.
Whose work you admire now?
Yeah, there's a few. There's the greatest young guitarist on the scene at the moment is a guy by the name of Jim Hendrix, who comes from New York.
Oh yeah, I've seen him.
You've seen him play?
Yeah.
Did you see him play on his own or backing somebody?
I saw him, he had his own group called the Blue Flame here in New York.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, he has his own group in England now with 2 English musicians, just 3 people, called the Jimi Hendrix Experience, which is a beautiful band. You know,
Yeah.
he just plays blues things and he freaks out occasionally. You know,
Stay here until that was how I went to Glory.
and he's my at the moment. He's my favourite guitarist because I can get to see him quite a lot. You know? Jim Hendrix. And I like Jeff Beck very much, and you know, naturally I love B.B. King, you know, those guys, and Otis Rush and Albert King, you know.
Yeah. Guitarist in America.
It's strange, yeah, because it's I get the impression that if an American artist, like say B.B. King, comes over to England, everyone stands up, you know. It's a big scene, really big. Here it's not so much.
Right.
Here, you know, there's more sort of adulation for white people who play blues. They get more success than the actual, you know, the blues people themselves. Where it's not so much in England. It's straighter, you know. It's more realistic, you know.
Yeah. Do you think there will ever come a time when the authentic blues people can be accepted by the mass audience, or do you feel?
I think it's I think it's going to be a long time because it's so tightly linked in with the racial problem in America, you know. Because for all the white people in America to acknowledge the success of an American blues musician is for them to, you know, to sort of completely accept the civil rights, etc., etc. You know, and it'll take a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's less. you know, it's less of a struggle. You know, it's an easy thing to do. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's priceless what the white musicians have done. You know, it's an incredible movement. You know. Yeah, I heard them when I met them when they came to England. We played together.
What do you think of them?
I think the two musicians that knocked me out are Bloomfield and Butterfield. You know, and Bloomfield's a beautiful guitarist. Butterfield's a great singer and harp player.
Butterfield, I mean, Bloomfield, that came back from England raving about you.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I thought he was behaving like that in England, and I thought maybe it was just the novelty of seeing an English guitarist playing blues. You know? But it seems to have lasted, you know, which is nice. It's a good thing that personnel should change now and then, you know. Otherwise, it gets stale. And I mean, you know.
Right. So, for example, how long do you think the Cream can sort of keep alive musically?
Well, that's something you just don't know. We'll play together until we don't want to play together anymore, and then it will break up. You know, there's nothing holding us. You know.
For example, when you all got together with the group, did you have any concept of what type of music you wanted to play and what type of sound you wanted to have?
Well, no, because we all, you know, we've all discovered ourselves more or less completely musically, and so we all had a vague idea of what we were going to sound like each, but we didn't know what the combination would sound like. You know, we had to try, and it worked. You know.
I guess. Well, how long had you known each other before you decided to form a group?
Around a year. Not too well. We didn't know each other too well. You know, we just knew each other's music. You know, most of all.
Yeah, that's a good idea. For people just keep changing around.
Yeah, yeah. It's healthy, you know. It's sort of stimulating, you know.
Do you feel that? Well, some of the things in England regarding you as sort of the super group. You know, the best musician on his instrument in any way.
Yeah, I think that's. I think that was fairly healthy at first, but I think it's a bit too individualistic, you know, because we want really to become more successful as a group than as just three musicians, you know.
And a lot of people seem surprised that three sort of star soloists could sort of combine, perform a cohesive group.
Yeah, that's what we had to get over. That was a problem, you know, because we had a lot of bad talk on that scene.
But that was more or less the audience's opinion rather than your own, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, we weren't worried at all about that, you know. But there are one or two that I always sort of rely on. That's there's a couple of Indian records that I play a lot of the time with by a man called Bismillah Khan, who plays a reed instrument called the Shahnai, which is just like an oboe without keys. You know, it's a very simple instrument, very hard to play. I have a couple of LPs by him, and I play.
Do you know how to spell the name?
Which one? The instrument name.
The Indian player.
The name of the guy is Bismillah, which is BISMILLAH, and Khan is spelled KHAN. And the instrument, the way you spell the name of the instrument is SHEHNAI.
What do you need? It's another amp.
I'll check the record catalog and see if it's available.
Yeah, you should try and listen to some, because it has it's very orientated. You know, you can hear the close contact with the blues and jazz. You know.
Yeah, okay. And I get a lot of ideas for records myself. You know,
Yeah.
People have recommended.
Yeah.
I see. Are there any others that you listen to frequently?
Yeah, I like. There's a couple of classical people that I like. The Stockhausen things I like very much. You know, not sort of as emotional music, but just because it's so interesting. You know what you can do with electronic sounds, and I like. Well, you know, apart from that, I don't really play very much except blues material. You know. In 5 or 10 years from now, I should probably. I really don't know. I mean, because I've never lived my life in a sort of futuristic way. I've never considered what will happen tomorrow, you know. And if I do, I'll probably fall to pieces, you know. I just can't answer that question.
Right opportunity and then just take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, do you have any ideas for producing records or something you'd like to? For example, like, is there anything that you haven't done yet, either in music or out, that you would like to accomplish with that?
Yeah, but but as long as I shall be involved with music, I shall still want to carry on playing. I mean, I do want to produce things, but I don't want to produce things for other people, you know. I don't want to become just a producer. I want to say produce sounds that are of value to myself and the cream or whoever I'm with. You know.
What do you think is the future of pop music in England? Does it seem to be going in any particular direction, or just standing still right now?
It's in a strange flux at the moment, you know. A lot of people are breaking up and reforming, you know. It's becoming, the blues is becoming, you know, sort of very much the sort of the power, you know. That's what everyone is really thinking about.